Hi guys, welcome to UkePod. This is Sayali.
And I'm Gladson, and we welcome you once again to this amazing show where our promise is this is your one stop for everything you want to know about the ukulele. And we're so excited because we are 6 episodes down. This is our seventh episode, and this is definitely one special one you don't want to miss. If you haven't checked us out already, please make sure to go and listen to all our previous episodes. And yeah, it should kind of help you with your ukulele journey. We release episodes on the 1st and 15th of every month. So that's a double dhamaka for all of you guys. And
Yeah,
yep,
you can grab all the knowledge you need to play ukulele. And we always talk about news related to ukulele, events, what's buzzing in the ukulele world. And we promised you something. So today we finally have our first guest with us. She is a
yes.
23-year-old Dutch Indian, and she is a full time university student as well. Not to mention, she's a singer, songwriter, and an amazing fingerstyle ukulele player. She also produces music in genres like R&B, lo-fi, and disco. She's also a music teacher, and we are so happy to introduce you all the way from Netherlands, Natasha Ghosh.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast in the first place. And I'm thrilled to also know more about you and more about the things that we're going to discuss. I'm really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I mean, today's
Yeah.
episode is all about what Natasha does as a musician, as probably one of the most prominent ukulele players from the Netherlands, who's also, as we mentioned before, is Indian. So she has her roots over here, but she's doing amazing, fantastic work over there. And we've been just talking to her for about an hour before we started shooting this. And we also learned that there are not many ukulele players, and ukulele is kind of fresh in the Netherlands. And we were kind of struck because we thought it was fresh over here, 8 years in the Indian market. We're really not sure of how old it is in the Netherlands, but I'm sure Natasha is going to help us out with everything as we keep moving forward in this podcast. So, without taking much of your time, make sure to put in your earphones, hit the play button, relax, and enjoy this episode.
Awesome. So let's start with how you got into music or a little bit of your musical journey.
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. So I'm 23 years old right now, and I've been making music or listening to music for as long as I can remember. So, like, it even goes into funny stories that when I was 3 or 4 years old, I wouldn't eat unless there was music on. So it has always been like a very prominent role. Yeah, it's crazy. So my mom always used to put on like MTV and this kind of stuff. But when I was 13, 14, I actually started to learn I started with guitar actually, not even ukulele.
Mhm.
And it's also funny how that started because at first I didn't like it at all. I thought it hurt my fingers. I wouldn't be good enough, and I didn't have motivation at all. So in the first
Mhm.
month, I actually dropped it, and then I thought, no, I don't want to drop it because I think that in order to achieve something great, because I did want to make music, I should also go through the whole practice part and the beginning and learning the
Mhm.
basics. So I picked it up again, and then I started learning it, and that kind of escalated because then I searched on YouTube. I met this. I saw the videos of this guy. His name is Sanga Jung.
Mhm.
Do you guys know about him? Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
South
Of
Korean
course.
fingerstyle guitarist, a legend. And I saw his videos and I fell in love with the way he was playing that fingerstyle guitar. So I also remember that moment really, really well, that I looked at that screen and at my parents' house, seeing him play this arrangement of Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to learn this. So what happened then is I kind of, yeah, there was not really a tutorial as such on how to play that kind of music. I also know that he was one of the first people in South Korea and Seoul to play that kind of fingerstyle. So there was not really a how to do it. So what I just did
Right.
is I committed myself to watching the videos over and over and listening over and over and just practicing a lot. And then for me, that opened up a whole new world of guitar playing because, I could, after that, I couldn't really imagine that I would not like it anymore. So I picked it up forever, basically. And yeah, that proceeded onwards. And then throughout the years, when I was 17,
Mm-hmm.
um, I kind of could do fingerstyle guitar. Then I saw his ukulele videos, and that was for me really eye opening because, like you guys also just mentioned, in the Netherlands, ukulele is not really that big of a thing. We do
Mhm.
sell ukuleles, but it's not that we have a community, and we don't have an amazing podcast like this one. So actually, in the Netherlands, it was not. I didn't have any example. So
Wow.
when I looked at those videos, I saw that Sung Jung also made ukulele versions of his fingerstyle techniques. So then I picked that up. Then I looked at that, and then it was also the song "Just the Way You Are." By the way, I really like that song. And then I just transferred that fingerstyle guitar technique to the ukulele, just doing the same thing, but then also getting to know the sound of the ukulele. So yeah, different things. They're both string instruments, but not the same instrument. Even though it's commonly thought that a ukulele is
Yeah.
like a little guitar, it's not the case
Mm.
at all. It has different dimensions, different string tensions, different tuning. So also a whole different way of approach. So combining the fingerstyle techniques of the guitar and my new approach to the ukulele as instrument was a really new and cool and open way of yeah, discovering slash rediscovering that instrument for me. So I can also safely say that Song Jung was my main inspiration throughout the whole process. After that, then I was 17, 18. Then I started to take singing classes. I think I did that for 2 years, not anymore now, but I also wanted to really broaden all my horizons as a musician. And then I started making YouTube videos, and then it kind of took off. I just started with, yeah, you have to start somewhere. So I just sat on this bar stool with a camera in front of me, and then I just filmed and but one take, tons of mistakes. I posted it online, and then I remember being super excited when I got like a like on the video or a watch or something without me even. It wasn't me, so then I thought, oh my god, it's somebody's actually watching this, and I actually wanted to just share all of my musical endeavors also for me. So my YouTube channel was kind of a catalog or database for me that when I grew up, I can see how it went. So I will never delete those low quality videos at the beginning. Like I will never. It also kind of embodies that journey for me.
Hmm.
Then I opened up my Instagram account and I started making videos over there. That was in January 2017, or yeah.
Okay.
So this January actually it exists for 4 years. I think my YouTube channel
Wow.
exists for 5 years, and I still keep loving to do it. But I would not have imagined that so many people would actually tune in, and that I would at some point, which is happening right now, which has been happening over the last year, that I could teach fingerstyle ukulele. So that's just something that I could not have imagined. Um, so yeah, and then the last thing about my musical journey is that I now
Hmm.
focus on making songs myself, like in the genres like R&B, lo-fi disco. That really kind of attracts my attention. Um,
Nice.
so yeah,
That's
that's
really interesting. So, a lot of people really want to get into fingerstyle, and as much as playing the ukulele could just be as simple as C, A minor, F, and G, there's a lot more that goes behind fingerstyle playing. And we had this question to you, Natasha. Like, although you said Sungachung was your biggest inspiration, um, fingerstyle is not the easiest thing to play. It combines a lot of different techniques, right? So, what kept you going on that front, and why did you not give up? Like, what is that one thing which kind of kept you going?
um, to summarize it in one word, my passion, I think. So I've been extremely passionate for music for as far as I can remember. And even though it's not the easiest industry I know, but I want to become a successful musician and pursue it one day full time. So that has kept me driving. So when I started making the YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
actually I thought, okay, then I had like, I tend not to look at the numbers or subscriber count. I tend to look at the output that I give. That also
Mm-hmm.
really helps because it can be a bit, yeah, if you look at measure success or your own development by numbers, then it's not, that wouldn't be the right way. So that is my
Yeah.
first advice, not to look at that, because that could harm the motivation to get you going in the long term. It's really measured by doing the best you can do. And what kept me going is really that my end goal, and it has been the end goal since I was 15, since I was 18, 23, it will be when I'm 28, 38. So that's just, it fuels me. So I don't see another option than to just try my best, and just do whatever I can do, because it would be a pity, I guess, for me to live my life and not have maximized that at the fullest extent, especially when I'm so passionate about it, and that fingerstyle ukulele and that kind of stuff seems to add value for so many people.
Absolutely.
So that is my main driving thing, to also prove to myself kind of that I'm always going to try my best. So
Wow.
yeah, to summarize it, passion.
Lovely.
Passion. Passion is the
Thanks.
one
Yeah.
word then.
I guess we have had a word on this as well, about the thing that not to focus on numbers, but to enjoy the process and enjoy the journey along the way. Because if you keep focusing on the numbers, or if you keep measuring that thing, then it becomes quite demotivating at a point.
Yeah.
So that's really important to just keep working and keep going, and not to think about
Yeah.
rest of the factors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
what really inspired you to pick ukulele? Like
What
there
are
are,
the other
Um,
instruments?
yeah.
Even though you said
yeah,
guitar, but why the ukulele?
Well, what I like about the ukulele that much is that, um, first of all, it's really portable, so you can just take it wherever you want. And I really like that not a lot was discovered about it. So
Mhm.
Jung making those videos, and there's also another musician, Jake Shimabukuro. You probably heard of him, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
exactly, yeah, of course, the legend. He also kind of shed a new light on the instrument. So
Mm.
that was also a very motivational and challenging thing for me. I wanted to do the same. And yeah, I don't know. I like the vibe that it has. So nobody can get unhappy when somebody brought a ukulele to a group session, or
Exactly.
and it, for me, yeah, for me it also, um, yeah, it was a challenge. It's a challenge, like a new innovative thing, and it's gaining popularity, and it's just a really fun instrument. And also trying to make or see the boundaries of the instrument and kind of trying to
Hmm.
expand that. That's something that really motivated me. And if I want to become a successful musician, I thought to myself, I should be able to do that. And
Yeah.
yeah, the reason that it was ukulele and not piano, or something else, I knew it was going to be string instruments. So string instruments got my heart.
Hmm.
But ukulele kind of, because there's in the Netherlands not so much known about it. That's even why I wanted to do it more. Uh, Even more why I wanted to do it. So
Wow.
yeah.
Very interesting. So if someone else gave you another instrument, you're good to say no.
Well, I would
No, I'm
love
just
to
kidding.
try it. Like if, yeah, if somebody would give me like a tuba or saxophone, like sure, wouldn't be my number
Wow.
one, but sure.
So what are the other instruments that you play?
Yeah, okay. Is singing an instrument? Does that
Okay,
count?
let's just call that. Yeah, it's part of music. So
Yeah, okay. Singing, guitar, ukulele. I play bass ukulele as well. I've
wow,
tried bass
nice.
guitar. Piano, not so much. I would rather say keyboard, because a pianist wouldn't say that I play piano. Kalimba, I play.
Wow.
Um, yeah, that's about it. And then electric guitar, but that's more like a subsection of guitar.
Hmm.
Yeah, those are the things I play so far.
Nice. Very interesting indeed.
Can you just let us through your process of making ukulele fingerstyle arrangements, and at the
Yeah,
same time process of composing your own songs, because you have already released two singles, I believe. Yeah.
hmm
So just let us through the process of both.
sure. I'll start with the ukulele fingerstyle process first, because I do believe that
Hmm.
those are two separate processes. Like,
Yeah.
at least I registered like that.
Yeah.
So
Right.
as for making ukulele arrangements, it's also a lot of watching, like consuming content, like seeing how other people do it. Just so what I did is I watched a lot of arrangements and focused on what people put their emphasis on when they arrange something themselves. For example, there are fingerstyle guitarists like Andrew Foy, yeah, Sung Jung, obviously,
Hmm.
Kotaro Oshio, and even more. Like it goes on, um, and I just watched their videos and saw what do they put the emphasis on. So then um, I also kind of made notes and made a little note like, okay, what do people focus on? They focus on bass notes. Like bass notes are the structure, drums and bass notes are the structure of a song. So a band cannot go without a bass player, without a drummer. So that's what I kind of put
Hmm.
my emphasis on. And what I love about fingerstyle ukulele and guitar playing is that you can put the percussion in your playing. So that's one. And then
Mhm.
you just have to add the bass notes. Okay, so then do you find the bass notes? When I start an arrangement, I just pick a song that I like. So it's really diverse what's on my channel. I have um, Red Hot Chili Peppers, that kind of stuff. It
Hmm.
goes down also just the way you are. That was one of the first ones actually, and
Hmm.
it actually the list goes on in the musical taste. So then I pick a song, then I actually search what key it is in because that's really important for the bass notes. Then I
Hmm.
browse several versions of how people play chords to it, and those chords kind of indicate what kind of bass note there is. So if you use a D major chord, you know, okay, you have to use D note somewhere, like it has to be the bass. Then I use
Yeah.
those bass notes. That's going to be the base of my whole arrangement.
Hmm.
I do not use a lot of music theory in this sense. I think throughout the years of practicing and training in musical hearing, I hear when, like, I compose everything by ear. So I hear when it's right. So what I do with the
Mm.
bass notes, I figure out the melody. So then I just play until I hear the melody. Then I try to combine it with the bass
Hmm.
note. And then to make it interesting, I kind of transpose the bass note on several places. So instead of a C on to put it in layman's terms, on the very left side of your fretboard, can also be a C on the 12th fret of the fretboard, but that's like an octave higher C. In that sense, it works.
Mm.
So it's really basic music theory. Then the third note of the bass note and the fifth note, they always work. So I
Yeah.
use those notes as well. So that sounds a bit like a structural plan, but it goes a lot by feeling. And the
Mm.
speed in this kind of sense comes gradually. So first it took me weeks to make one arrangement. And because I've done it so many times, now it takes a couple of hours. I think my fastest record was of We Don't Talk Anymore by Charlie Puth. I think I made that in 30 minutes. But then you
Wow.
also need the practicing part, like getting it right and then recording, shooting. But um, so that's something I would advise. Look at the drums and the bass notes,
Hmm.
but also listen to your feeling and look up a lot of fingerstyle arrangements as they are and see what the focus is on those places, videos. For my own music, that is 100% a feeling thing. So I discovered for the last 2 3 years since given my singing voice more of a voice that I really love songwriting. So I know which genres interest me. I know I've been to a lot of concerts, festivals, things that kind of also broaden my perspective in that kind of sense.
Hmm.
And that songwriting also happens for me really fast. What I do is I listen to a beat. Last few times I've DM'd producers that really stood out to me, and
Okay.
then I just pitched my idea like this is what I want to do. I have a long reference track, and those are my inspirations.
Nice.
I play the beat, then I hum to it, and then suddenly a song kind of pops up. So that's really more of an intuitive feel. and less than the whole preparation you have for a music ukulele fingerstyle arrangement.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Wow. That's really interesting. So one question over here is, I'm
Hmm.
sure a lot of people will also be asking, because the ukulele is such an instrument that not a lot of people actually get into music theory or
Hmm.
learning music for the ukulele, because a lot of people just want to take the ukulele and start strumming it like within 2 days or 3 days. And
Hmm.
lucky for everyone, the ukulele is an instrument which you can actually start doing that. But coming back to how you structure uh, your fingerstyle methods and your songwriting. Now, in when you do your song, you said that it's 100% feeling.
Yeah.
But now you as a musician are able to say that because you do have some knowledge of music theory. So how about you take us through the importance of knowing some music theory? Do you think it is important to know at least a little bit, or do you think people can just get away with probably C, A minor, F, G, and one capo? What's your take on it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Hmm.
Might come as a bit of a surprise, but I know very little of music theory to the extent that I don't really read notes. So I do know how it's structured and how it works, but I don't never read notes when I play.
Hmm.
Nevertheless, I do believe that it's important to know which notes there exist. So then from C, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and
Hmm.
also to know half tones and whole tones. So for guitar, I do think that it's more prominent to learn music theory because of scales. The scales exist on
Hmm.
ukulele as well, but on the ukulele, like you just said, a lot of people who pick it up are not looking to learn about a lot of music theory. Just they just want it to sound well. And I do
Yeah.
believe that the ukulele is a really accessible instrument for that as well, because you don't really need to know a lot of music theory in order to play it well.
Right.
And I can say that because I've been doing this for so long, and I know not a lot. It's not the most important thing. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Sounds good. I mean, that's a very important aspect, because just like how you said you don't know a lot of music theory, I
Mhm.
come from a same headspace, and I would say I'm 100% or a 200% feeling. I write my
Mhm.
music through the fields, and I'm someone who has been just listening to people and just aping it out. So my attempt on any instrument, or okay, let's come back to the ukulele. On the ukulele remains that I do have two or three favorite shapes. Like for example, if you start making a C shape, like I go with this shape method. So if I know this works, I know the next shape is this, the next shape is this, and the next shape is another. So if I put that anywhere on the ukulele, I know that that song is 100% going to play. Does that work for you too? Like, is it something which you use?
100%, I do. So, like you also said, that some shapes are more familiar to you, and some shapes feel more comfortable to you as well.
Yeah.
So I have that as well. I have a few shapes that I always go. Those are like my base as well. I couldn't do without those. So in ukulele, you have. I don't know if you've ever heard of the caged method. Okay, so caged chords are actually the abbreviation stands for all the chords so, in it. So C, A, G, E, D, and the E chord can also be read as an F chord. So these chords altogether, the major versions and the minor versions, are the most important chords for ukulele to start with. If you master those chords, you can play a lot of songs at once. And it's also a very good way to kind of train your basic skills, which you can then extend further. So those chords, the gauge chords, are for me the most. They sit most comfortable. And like you also said, Gladson, that I to transpose them further on ukulele, they totally work. So
Yeah.
I go with that. I also love bar chords a lot, like the
Yeah.
shape of bar chords. It makes it sound a bit more magical, especially when you play it up higher. But I do believe that gauge chords for me work the best in the beginning,
Wow.
for sure. Yeah.
Nice. Sally, what do you do to kind of make this happen? So if you have to kind of um, structure a song. You are teaching people, all
Mhm.
right? Both of us kind of also perform more than teaching. Natasha has been teaching. I also teach in a different way, but coming back to you, you have a different style of teaching. So if you have to structure this, is
Mhm.
this a similar pattern to what Natasha does, or do you have a little different pattern? Because every way of kind of putting it out there is definitely going to help someone out there. So, how about you take us through a little bit of your side of structuring the song?
Yes, definitely. Mine is way too, structured because I like to explore and learn things. Uh, Also, I have been in a formal training of music, तो वो एक ऐसे बन गया है कि you have to follow certain things to uh, get a certain output. It's just
Mm-hmm.
structurized in my mind. So what I do whenever I'm preparing a certain song, I just pick up a song, I find a key of that song, I find the
Mm-hmm.
chords come under that scale, and then I try to sort of match those chords with the song, with the melody of the song, with ear training, and that's the entire process I go through. When it comes to fingerstyle, as I'm getting into fingerstyle right now, I just try to, see as many uh, educators out there as I can, and what their
Mm.
method of teaching is, or how they are teaching, or how they are playing, and what kind of takeaways I can get from that, and I can incorporate into the things I'm learning. So
Yeah.
that's all about it.
Yeah, because like now we realize that the three of us have three different ways of doing it, but somewhere they kind of come together and make it happen. Because what people watch is the end product,
Yeah.
and no one
Yeah.
really knows what goes behind it. You never really know whether the three of us actually play ukuleles. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
it's fun, you know. It's this is just the three out of the several billion people out there, and we don't know how many people out there are actually playing music. Biggest question for you, Natasha. What's your take on, you've lived all your life in the Netherlands, okay? But you also said that you do have Indian music playing at your house. Tell us about how that has influenced you as a person, and does that show up in your songwriting, in your way of playing the ukulele? Do you have an
Hmm.
Indian influence?
Okay, that's okay. Well, the Indian influence, for sure. So it kind of, I'm always very kind of loyal to my roots. So despite the fact that I grew up in the Netherlands and I was born and raised here, I always
Hmm.
really want to maintain that connection with India. So yeah, when I'm at home, my parents are they know Dutch like, fluently. They speak Bengali and Hindi fluently. So when I'm at home, there's always going to be a Bengali song or movie or some soap series playing. And
Wow.
my mother, she used to play the harmonium. So
Wow.
that's a thing for Bengali women. The singing classes they take with the harmonium, and then they teach it with ear training to each other. So my mother can sing really well as well. She knows scales.
Mhm.
So that really did influence me to pick up singing in the first place. So I would say that my mother was an influence in that, and the harmonium and the way scales are set in Indian music was also really, yeah, it was eye opening for me because the whole Saregama.
Yeah.
Do you know that show, that singing show?
Yeah, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Okay, so that I used to watch a lot. So then I knew with my mother. So because of that, I knew a lot of Indian music, and that did influence me in a way that, well, my mother, first of all, she always says wants me to play Hindi songs on ukulele. So those are projects still running because I need to find
Uh-huh.
like a proper way to place that. But it's certainly work in progress. It
Wow.
offered me a new perspective on music. So for sure, it did influence it. But
Mhm.
actually, playing Indian songs on ukulele is something that is also highly requested by a lot of people that I teach or on the socials. So that is something that I will look into So then you will see that influence a bit more clearly.
All right, guys. So
Yeah.
Natasha has said it that you're gonna have some Indian stuff coming out. So definitely go and check her socials out. We'll definitely be putting them out in the description. But yeah, coming back to this, we're so happy that you say that the Indian influence or the roots are never really going to stay away from you, and they kind of what make you as a musician, as a person altogether. Do you have
Mhm.
any other Indians in the Netherlands who also, you try to jam along with or trying to make some kind of Indian music, be it Bollywood, be it Carnatic, Hindustani, so many different styles of Indian
Yeah.
music. Um, do you have friends along who you try to jam up with and make something out?
Well, I do know a lot of friends of mine do play music and
Okay.
different things, also different instruments. And for me,
Wow.
that's also new. So, for example, I know somebody who plays the piano and then the saxophone. But
Hmm.
as for Indian people, I don't know that many Indian people who make that music, that kind of music. So I don't know a tabla player or sitar player. I really wanted to play the sitar, but it's really
Hmm.
hard getting those classes in here. So that's a
Right.
bit of a pity. I wish that would happen a bit more to really get those influences to put it into practice. So I
Yeah.
think that my family is the biggest like gateway to playing, practicing, listening to Indian music so
That
far.
was one of the things we wanted to ask you, which is,
Mhm.
does anyone else in your family also have roots in music? But we're so glad you told us. Your mother has been kind of taking the tradition of every Bengali woman or every Bengali mother who will
Yeah.
always train their child in music. And very interesting to know that they would do it by ear training. Uh,
Yeah.
so this is pretty much all those serious questions we've had for Natasha, and I'm sure that there's a lot more to explore, but we've got a couple of other questions to ask Natasha as well.
What would you be if you aren't a musician?
So that's a good one. Like if everything is possible and like everything is feasible, like if I could do anything.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Besides
Anything.
music.
Okay. So this is not my direction at all. When I was
Hmm.
younger, I always wanted to be an astronaut and a sea biologist. So
Wow.
those are two things. Not that I'm into biology right now, but I think that something like that I would have explored. I might have gone and opened my own coffee shop,
Wow.
like a cafe. I think I would have always explored my entrepreneurial self, but then not the music aspect of it, but then maybe something else. I think
Nice.
that
If there's just one song which defines you, what would you play? What would that song
one
be
song.
that defines
Okay.
you?
It would be the song "Fantasy" by Alina Baraz.
Nice.
She
What's it
is my
about?
main inspiration. Well, it's I really love the words she uses in the song. So it's like really ethereal. You should look it up. It's like very how do you say that? Smooth and dreamy and synthy and like it's about love. It's about getting like a getaway with somebody else, and then the
Nice.
singer says that she wants to be that. It's really cool. That song would define also what I would love to make someday.
Awesome. Who would you like to collaborate with? This is like getting,
Who I would like to collaborate with, like
yeah,
in
Hmm.
music.
Hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah, I think Alina Baraz to come again with that, or Liana da Havas. I don't know if you know her.
Okay.
No, I'm not aware.
FKJ. These are just artists that I listen to a lot. I would love to, if I could have a studio session with any of these people, that would be a dream come true.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super.
What are your plans like going ahead with your musical journey? Is there any set of certain things you have thought like now you are going to release your third single in 12th
Oh,
of the
Yeah,
Feb
yes.
yeah,
and
true. Yeah, my plans are is to release a lot of music on my own. So aside from Fingerstyle Ukulele, I will continue this year. Is actually the kickoff of my ukulele tutorials. So that's going to be leading. I just wanted to give back. I've made so many arrangements that I want to also teach that kind of stuff. I want to teach people. As for my own music, yes, my single "Hold Me" is coming out on February 12th. So I'm just going
Super
to
excited for that.
drop that out
Yeah.
there. And at the end of this month, like in the beginning of March, there will be another song, and then in end of March, another song. So I'm planning ahead, collaborating with a lot of producers. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline, so that's really
Nice.
nice. Yeah, so that's going to be my plan. I think focusing on my own music, making that as well as giving ukulele tutorials.
I'm sure
Lovely.
it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, at 23, you've got such amazing plans, and we're kind of wondering how we are going to take things ahead. Because as much as we want to do things, uh, time definitely plays an important role, and you
Yeah,
are definitely making the best of your time. And we're super, 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 super happy to hear that you've got so many things, loads of things coming up ahead, and that's going to be a treat for so many. For people who want to learn, you've got ukulele tutorials, and for people who just want to enjoy music, there's music, of course, and that's going to be in
yeah.
different genres, as we also mentioned before. Uh,
Hmm.
Hold Me is going to be what genre, if I may ask?
It's going to be R&B, so alternative R&B, R&B kind of.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's going to be the kickoff. I've also rediscovered my love for that genre as well. So
Wow,
yeah, that's going to be central for
nice.
sure.
Love.
Okay, tell us one thing that keeps you focused, besides passion. Uh,
Hmm.
do you have something which you don't want to really achieve, and that's what you want to work towards, or is it just passion which drives you, and you want to do the best you can do today, or like what's it like for you, what drives
Yeah,
you?
so what you guys also mentioned before is that it's really important to focus on the journey of things and not like the goal. So it's not that I'm not satisfied until a goal is reached. I think working
Hmm.
towards the goal is the most fun thing ever because once you actually get it, it's only a moment and that will feel like super cool, but it's important to love every part of it. So what keeps me going
Yeah,
is seeing the development of growth and adding value to as many people as possible, getting messages of people saying that I inspired them to do things or I motivated them. That's the biggest. Like, that's such a huge gift. So that keeps me
yeah,
going as well, adding value and connecting with a lot of people globally. I really love that as well. That I know that at some places where I would go now, if I would take a flight there, that I know that I can hit a few people up. That's such a cool way of connecting around the globe through music. So that's also something
amazing.
that really drives
The fun fact is that as much as three of us are definitely talking on this podcast show, it's funny that Sally and I have just met once and
me.
yet to meet Natasha. So obviously, when she comes down over here, you can definitely, where who you should call. So that's
Yeah, I
one
would love
thing.
that. Yeah.
It's so amazing. We also got to learn that Sally, this is not just our first guest on the show, but this is Natasha's first interview slash
Oh,
podcast.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're
Yeah. It
having
is
many
the first
firsts,
for
and
us all.
absolutely, I hope you're enjoying this. Tell us one crazy habit of yours which you think absolutely makes you go like, Natasha, what are you doing? But that's something which keeps you going, all right. Like you do that all the time. Tell us one
Does it
crazy
have to
habit
be
of yours.
does it have to be music related or can be
No.
anything?
If it is
Okay.
music related, I mean, it's cool either way.
Okay. What I'm going to name is not music related at all, so that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I make a lot of puns. So I love wordplay. I love lyricism. I love poetry. But when there is a chance to make like a pun, I will take that chance. So also with my friends or something, I'm known as the person who loves to fuse words and make it like another word. And some people hear like a pun and then they laugh at it. And it's like, aha, cool that you came up with that. But I would actually laugh a lot. So I think my habit of making puns on the spot would be something I do a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Really, really interesting. See, it's like we have a life out of music, so it's always cool to do other things. Um,
Of course.
both of us are also happy in doing a couple of other things, and it's absolutely amazing. Big thanks to the ukulele that has brought us all together, and
Yeah.
the internet and the world for
Yes.
blessing us with such amazing technology that we're talking from miles away, kilometers away, and we're all on a journey to make people smile. This is our attempt. So we're super, super happy that all of you have showered your love towards us, and this is going to get better. This is, mind you, just a start. In Netherlands, this is going to blow up, and Natasha is going to be one of the biggest artists over there. That's something we definitely know. And whenever you come to India, you should know, Natasha, that you have a lot of people who will be definitely waiting for you, and we will make sure that we do our best to, kind of spread the word and stuff like that. So yeah, you're always welcome back.
That's amazing to hear. Thank you so much. I'm super humbled to hear that, and it's nice to
Absolutely.
know that, like you said, ukulele brought us all together, and it's also, from my perspective, really nice to know your kind of perspectives on it, on
Yeah,
music, on ukulele, but also as people. Yeah. So thank you so much for just saying that explicitly. It means a lot.
absolutely.
Before we close, I would
Mm-hmm.
just like to ask you if you would like to give one advice to our listeners and for
Mhm.
anyone who wants to follow the path you have taken.
Um, if there's one piece of advice that I could give, is to
Yeah.
not compare yourself with other people, because that is something that a lot of people do out of like intuition. Like when you do
Mhm.
something, you want to see around you, like, how is everyone doing? But everyone's journey is their own. So there's not really a tutorial as to how your journey is going to play out. You are the person who kind of drives that. Like, you decide how that journey is going to play out. So that would be my main advice, to, yeah, not look at how other people are doing things. Just look at yourself and believe as well.
Superb. That was absolutely inspiring, Natasha. I'm
Thank you.
sure that a lot of people who are listening to this podcast are going to take away a lot, and I'm sure that these are not everything that we could have got from Natasha today. We've had less time, and there's a lot more to explore. So definitely go and check out Natasha Ghosh music.
Yeah.
Check out both the singles which have already been released. This episode is out on the 1st of February 2021, and on 12th of February she's got her next single out, which is Hold Me. So definitely go shower some love.
Definitely. So you can follow us on Instagram. The handle is @the UkePod. And you can also hit us on the Gmail if you have any questions or if you want us to discuss any topics on the show. So the ID is theukepod@gmail.com, theukepod@gmail.com. That's all about it. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Natasha, for
Yes. It's my pleasure.
joining us in the podcast. We really enjoyed having you.
Same
And
here.
we are looking forward to have you again
Sure.
going ahead.
I would love that.
So, yeah, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank
My-
you so much, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Do give us a like, follow us on Instagram. All our socials are going to be there in the description once again. So, once again, thank you from all of us. Bye bye, and keep strumming.